I'm Michael Schaefer. I'm the Global Product Line Manager for our performance tennis rackets and bags at Wilson. And we're here today to talk about the ProStaff V14. ProStaff's all about a traditional performance racket feel. What we wanted to do is create a racket that had a lot of precision. That's great for players who like to transition, who come into the net. It's a racket that has a pretty low balance point, so it's very maneuverable. It works really well for players who are very versatile in how they play, but really works well for players who have the intention to finish the points off at the net. With ProStaff V14, we spend a lot of time understanding about how rackets bend, and particularly how the ProStaff franchise rackets have bent over the entirety of the line. What we noticed in classic ProStaff rackets were that they tended to bend more in the shaft, which allowed the racket to have a very traditional and classic and iconic feel. Whereas the more modern ProStaff rackets were bending more in the hoop. And so what we wanted to do was create a 97 square inch ProStaff that had more bending in the shaft of the racket to give it that traditional ProStaff feel. We developed a new model of the ProStaff this year that we're calling the ProStaff X. And the idea behind the ProStaff X was to create a traditional feeling and traditional playing ProStaff, but in a slightly easier to use package. So it's a racket that has a slightly larger head size. It's a 100 square inch racket. It's a little bit more maneuverable, a little bit lower swing weight, but it still has the traditional ProStaff beam height and feel and construction. And so we think that this is a great new offering for players who have maybe used ProStaff their entire career, but are looking for something that's slightly easier to use without sacrificing that ProStaff feel. When designing a ProStaff racket, you always have the legacy to think of. Because this racket has been such an integral part of iconic moments in tennis, you want to make sure that you're designing a racket that will really live up to these key moments within the sport. And so when we were designing this racket and we saw the first kind of diagram of this design, we knew right away that there was something special about this design because it had this extremely classy and modern design that we felt not only would bring the ProStaff forward, but also would live up to the designs of the past.